What's up, pod pals? It's your buddy Adam from Podcasting Business School. This is the show where I teach you how to love your podcast like a hobby, but build it like a business. If you are looking for podcast tips on how to monetize, how to grow your podcast, how to engage your podcast audience, you're in the right place. We're doing a podcast audit where I'm going to dive into all those topics with my new friends, my pod pals, Jason and Tina Marie from Loving Beyond the I Do. I love the concept of their show. I love the vibe that they're putting out there. They've got a good thing cooking here, and I can't wait to dive in. So, Jason, Tina Marie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, I love getting a hold of shows and getting a hold of podcasters that are making a difference. And I know that you're impacting people's lives with your show. Yes. So real quick, just so we can kind of broaden that impact, like what's your show about? And let's dive into some tactics here.
Well, our show is on helping married couples navigate the waters of marriage.
We like to say we want people to take their marriages off cruise control.
Absolutely.
Like that.
And get back in the driver's seat and know where they're going with it and make it worthwhile.
I need to introduce you guys. I had a gentleman on the show last week named Evan Money. He and his wife get remarried every summer. They do a destination wedding and they get married every summer. They've done it like 20 whatever times in a row. It's pretty amazing stories. I'll reach out. I'll make that connection. I think that'd be interesting.
And that's what we mean by being in the driver's seat, right? So instead of just letting marriage happen day after day after day, they're actually doing something to make sure that their marriage is going in the direction that they want it to be in.
Exactly.
Doesn't lose its flair.
Exactly. Got to keep it spicy.
That's
all right. Let's dive in. Like, obviously I specialize in helping podcasters with audience growth, monetization, audience engagement, waking up that audience so we can help more people. Where would you like to start? What would be the most helpful for you guys as far as a topic to dive into?
Well, one is more downloads and just getting more interaction in the community and Facebook community and stuff like that.
Okay. So I've got some notes in my magic chart here, and I'll send all my notes over to you. I've got them all in a Google Sheet. I'll blast them your direction. So not to worry. I always see people starting to write stuff down real quick. I'm like, I got you. I got this all ready to rock. So when it comes to downloads, I think you guys could really excel with, I look at OPP, other people's podcasts, social media, and paid ads. So we got to be down with OPP. You know me. We got to get on other people's podcasts. We got to leverage those. How often are you guys guesting on other people's shows?
Well, we've only done one or two so far. So we do much better.
So
shows.
Let's set a benchmark goal. And then I'll tell you how to get there. All right. That's the even better news. So a benchmark goal is 12 in a year. So a year from now, I want you to say, we've been on 12 shows, one a month. It's a 1 per month goal.
Okay.
Once we're on that pace, we'll bump it up to once a week. And that's a 50 per year goal. All right. And that'll take you to another level. But if you're on someone else's show, and not just any show, I want a tangential relationship platform. It doesn't have to be your exact topic, but we want it like your people hang out with them. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. At least in the area, at least in that same. Okay. Absolutely. That was my next question.
Because you think like there's a lot of married people out there and you think like, where are the married people listening in that might be struggling? I would say entrepreneurship podcasts that can create some friction. Anything that is relationship based, personal growth and development based. That's where I'd be looking to do guesting on. Now, how do we get there? How do I get booked on 12 shows this year, Adam? How do I get there? So there's a few different methods. My number one thing is I always invite my target show, that person, onto my show first. I invite them on my show first and I make friends, because if I'm going to be a great guest for their show, I guarantee they're probably going to be a really good guest for my show as well. And I invite them on first. I make friends. I'm really good at making friends. And then usually by the end of that conversation, they're like, hey, you need to come on my show next. And I did this. So for my first health show, what I would do is I would go through the Apple podcast rankings. They used to have the top 200. They don't have that anymore. It's like 50 or whatever. And I would start at the lower end. So like number 191 through 200. And I would email everybody that made sense and I would invite them on my show. And then I would make friends. And then, some of them get back to you, some of them don't, no big deal. Right. But every week I would invite 10 more. and to the point where I was getting a lot of people on my show. So it's really good content. I'm getting top podcasters on my show, but I'm also getting invited on top podcasts. So that year I did over 100 podcast interviews total, but I was on the 50 of the top ranked shows in my category, 50 in 1 year. And my show blew up. Like that's when things really took off. So I'm scooping up that audience every time I'm guesting on someone else's show, but I'm also getting really seasoned as an interviewee and what works, what calls to action, what keywords, what language is really sticking in these people's minds. And you get a lot of reps in that way on other people's shows. And you're seeing, well, I said this, or we used this lead magnet, or I said, we really focus on this topic, and a whole bunch of people came over. All right, we got the secret sauce. Now let's keep doing that. So you get reps, and it's really, really going to help. So that's a strategy that I would use. I host a monthly, a bi-weekly meetup called the Pod Pal Zoom Party. You got to come party with me because I'm like the podcast matchmaker where we're booking each other. It's free. And I have people come on there, they'll get booked on 3 or 4 shows. So you'll have like a good quarter of your interviews will come out of just coming in and hanging out with me in Pod Pal. So that's something that we'll definitely do. That's very easy. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just checking out your last podcast.
Yeah. So it's a good time. And we put it out as an episode. It's good exposure for your show. Lots of podcasters listening. They'll be like, I need to book them. Also, I've already kind of cooked up a few introductions that I want to make in addition to Evan that I mentioned earlier. Okay. So other people's podcasts, that kind of ticks that box. Is that making sense so far? Any questions about that?
We're all on the same page here.
It takes a little work, a little leg work. You got to have a spreadsheet, stay organized. Who have I invited? When did I reach out? What did they say? Did they respond? And then just kind of keep flowing through that. Maybe have a VA do that. Some people do that. That's a good, delegatable thing that you could do. But you're going to get traction with that. And that strategy really, really works. Okay. Social media. Where are you guys hanging out on social? If you had to pick like 1, maybe 2 platforms that you are active on and seeing some engagement on, what would they be?
Facebook and Instagram.
Perfect. I want you to start doing live follow-ups to your episode.
Yes.
So what I do is my Podcasting Business School episode comes out on Tuesday on IG and Facebook. I'm doing a 7 p.m. follow-up where if I did an interview episode, if I can get them to come on with me, I get them on with me. But regardless, I'm going live, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm going to teach on a micro topic that I covered in that episode. So it's all about shining a bigger spotlight on a smaller segment, but it's like the appetizer to the meal. And all of a sudden, I need to go back and listen to that whole episode. And so it's all about pushing back to that episode. So I give them a day to listen, and then I go live. So I would 24 to 48 hours after your episode releases, doing a live follow-up with the guest. It doesn't have to be on every platform because that can get a little tricky, but like Instagram is super easy. You just go live, you pull them in, your split screen, we're good. But if you're on StreamYard, what I'm doing, just since I know you guys are seasoned on StreamYard, I get my phone and I get my little clamper and I clamp it on my computer, right? So my phone camera is right next to my camera hole. So it doesn't look like I'm talking over here to Instagram. I did that. True. I can't lie to you guys. I did that for probably 6 weeks straight. I'm like, hey, Instagram, hey, Facebook. And it's just like,
right.
And like, it adds to my online charm. People are like, what an idiot. Like,
right. You're bouncing back and forth. Right?
Yeah. I figured it out. I got them right next to each other. Now, if you have a guest, that's where it can get tricky when it's like, hey, they've got to have their phone and their camera go on StreamYard at the same time. If you do that, you can pull it off.
Right.
You have to make sure that the phone, I would put the earbuds in the phone so that you can't hear the phone through the computer and Facebook is getting an echo.
Right.
So you got to make sure that there's no noise coming from the phone. That's important. But it's pull offable. Like you can do it but if somebody's like, I've never been on Instagram before, I would just give them the StreamYard link and go on Facebook.
And then we'll just do Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep. I already thought about that. Yes.
Season with the echo and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So if you have to pick one or the other, I just pick the one that you get the most engagement on naturally and just make it a regular thing. So your audience knows like 7 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, Adam's on. Let's go. So then they can interact with you. And it's a cool thing for your audience because they've listened to the episode. They have questions. They can actually pop on and ask that person or ask you guys the questions that they have. Audience engagement, tick, 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 tick. That goes up. You're building super fans because now we're interacting. You're pulling them off the sidelines, out of the bleachers, onto the field, and you're talking. And I like that. All right. So that builds that engagement. So live follow-ups, that's another one. And then paid ads. Have you guys done any advertising like Facebook ads or online podcast platforms? Okay.
It was all organic.
Okay.
We've been doing this for about a year, so it's all organic.
So there's a few different places that I kind of do cast my fishing rod and reel a little bit. One platform is a player called Overcast.fm. A lot of people listen on that, especially people that don't have Apple phones. They'll listen on Overcast, but you can buy ads in your space. And Overcast is a little bit pricey. I accidentally did an episode about it, and the price is tripled because it's demand based. And I'm like, I kind of blew that one. So there is another platform that I use that I actually, for half the price of Overcast, I'm getting twice as many subscribers. I will share that with you offline. I don't mention it. I save that for clients and people in my membership, but I'll share that with you guys just as a gift because we're having so much fun here today. But like, it's actually better, but it's like Voldemort on Harry Potter. Like, we don't say the name. So because it's demand based. Now, a platform that is not demand based is Spotify. Okay. I'm getting big into Spotify ads. You can kind of check out some of my strategies in episode 181, where I interviewed Chris Kremitzos.
Yeah, I heard that.
But the audio ads on Spotify are cooking. I've got a secret sauce. I'm doing a test group that is no charge to you guys, and I can get you information on that, where I'm putting Spotify ads together for podcasters. We're running them.
Okay. And
like, I'm sharing data. I'm going, okay, this worked, this didn't work, this category, this targeting. So everybody's just kind of in it. So I can get you guys some information on that. I think Spotify is going to be a good place to hunt for new subscribers. Okay. So I would consider,
like, if I understand what you and Chris were talking about. Now, if you subscribe to something on Spotify, it'll alert your friends or your contacts or whatever, let you know that, hey, such and such like this, and maybe you'll like it too.
So if you and I are connected through social media, through our contacts, and it depends what phone you have and what you give your phone access to and what platforms. Like if Spotify has access to your people and your connections and the cookies and all that stuff, then they'll be like, if we're friends and I pop on to listen on Spotify, it'll kick me recommendations based off of what I've listened to, but also what you have, who I'm hanging out with is listening to.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. It's a little big brothery, but it's, but it's good for us as podcasters. So I'm for it. I will let them spy on me as much as possible. I'll just cover the little hole, when I'm like taking a shower or something. So it's a really solid platform. They're investing a ton of money in podcasting right now. So I would at least listen to your show or listen to other shows on Spotify and start sharing a Spotify link. Because you can do an Instagram story, swipe up or click the little Spotify button to listen directly. And that's a nice benefit that not a lot of podcasters are taking advantage of. I'll give you some information on paid ad stuff offline here so that we don't spoil anything. So those are audience growth tips that I know work. Those 3 areas. We're getting booked on 1 episode a month on someone else's show by making friends. We are doing live follow-ups on social. That works. It works every time. It's a good use of your time. Mm-hmm. And then the paid ad stuff with the podcast player and Spotify. So we get those cooking. We're getting more people listening and we're getting more downloads. I already know you're producing good, consistent content, and that's a key. I tell people never pay for podcasting ads if you aren't putting out at least weekly consistent content and consistent content that's good, that resonates with your ideal listeners. Because otherwise, you're paying for nothing. They're going to bounce in and listen to that next episode and go, "This isn't for me." Out. Right. Yeah, and you paid for that person, so we want to make sure if you're
paying around for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. We want them to start binging. So like on Overcast back in the days when it was cheaper, before I ruined it, I would run an ad for like, $300 in the education category for podcasting business school. And I'd get 150 new subscribers. So I'm like paying $2 per new subscriber. I'll do that all day, every day, because I have good, consistent content. I have lead magnets. So when people listen to my show, they end up like you guys, they end up in my world. Like they give me their email address, they sign up for a thing, and we ended up interacting. And a lot of those relationships end up in business, in coaching, in my membership, and marketing stuff, whatever. Like, so that is something that we want to make sure that we have at least an idea of in place. So if I'll pay $2 per new subscriber, because I know that could lead to business. Like I signed up somebody for a higher ticket, like a $5,000 coaching package, that saw one of my Overcast ads from Europe, and boom, comes in, listens to the show, does my PodPal Zoom party, does a podcast audit, and says, hey, I need you to build out my online membership, which is a high ticket offer that I do. I build it out, his course and his membership. And now he's monetizing that and charging people for that. So like, it's like the circle of life. It's Lion King, like that's, so we got to be thinking about those things. That's kind of my next thing. Like you guys, let's see here. I definitely think, are you guys cool? I mean, I got some monetization ideas. Is that
definitely
helpful? Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about money, right? Yeah.
Money.
Money.
So that's my next thing. I want to get a Roadcaster, so I have the little sound effects like the
yeah. Man, you don't have a Roadcaster?
Oh wow!
I don't. Yeah, I've got my same $70 ATR 2100 microphone in my 2009 MacBook Air. Like the keys are worn off. I'm stingy.
A whole new dimension.
Yeah.
Like, I just do it like with my mouth. I'm like, where'd that come from? Hit the button. So anyway, money. All right. I think a membership model will work for you guys 100%. I see couples coming in, paying you a monthly fee to get access to you and the people that you are bringing on as experts.
Okay.
Like imagine that once a month, you have people that come and speak on your show. They're experts in the space. You have a featured speaker. They come and talk for like 15 minutes and then they bounce or they do Q&A. And then you talk, you got the circle of the wagons and like let's work on our marriage. Let's work on our relationships. Let's put in work. And once a month, small group, this could be several small groups. Maybe you limit each group to 10 or whatever you feel like is an impactful group. And you do 4 of those a month. So you have 40 total members. They're paying $97 a month, and 97 times 40, we're making 4,000 a month just from 4 hours a month, basically. So that's, or maybe there's 100 and that's 10 grand, or there's 150, it's whatever you think you can impact, you can run the numbers, and maybe it's not 97, maybe it's 147. I wouldn't go less than 97. That would be my advice though. So a membership model, I think that would work really, really well. I like the idea of like a hybrid course or coaching model. I could see that where
we're working.
You have like the 10-step or the whatever formula, but then I like. You guys have really good personalities and you're engaging. You have good energy. Like your energy, people can borrow your energy. You know what I'm saying? So I like mixing in some live aspects, live group coaching or hot seats or something like that. Then the price goes up. It goes from a $500 course to a $1,500 course because they get live interaction with you. And that'll bring them in. Because I've had a really hard time just selling courses with no interaction with me, like all automated, just you're out there doing it. And a lot of people don't complete those. But if you have a once per week small group chat or a once per week office hours or hot seat session open, you can get them like, all right, where are we at? Cool. Here's your next step. Here's your next objective. Here's your next assignment. And let's check in next week. And they're borrowing your energy. You're getting that next leg of the journey. And again, the more access to you, the higher the prices that you can charge. And that's good because you're serving, and we're not going to have any shame about that. Like you're serving.
Absolutely.
No, we're putting in the work. So I understand. Yeah.
It's like, how much are you going to pay a divorce lawyer? Let's not do that. Let's invest a small percentage of that in us and let's fix this if it's meant to be fixed.
That's right.
Maybe you help them figure out that they aren't supposed to be together also, and that's good too.
That's good too. Priceless as well. So
yeah, exactly. Go live a happy life now. Congrats. So a hybrid course coaching model, I think that would be really, really good. Are you guys doing any like this type of an episode where like with a podcast audit, I'm bringing my listeners that are ideal listeners onto the stage and we're creating content together. I'm showing off my coaching and that promotes my coaching. That keeps me top of mind as a coach with coaching services, things like that. Are you guys doing anything like that with your show where you're pulling people out of the audience and kind of coaching them up a little bit?
No, we haven't.
I would say behind the scenes, but not
not in a live setting like this.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Not in the limelight.
Right.
Now, podcasting, the topic of podcasting, it's easier to pull this off than the topic of marriage because that's more personal.
Exactly.
So maybe
it has to be an area where they're willing to be open. Yeah. And have a conversation. They've
got to be open and willing.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more people that are looking to optimize their marriage. It's not like we're on the rocks. Save us.
Exactly.
Because that would be a hard, like, let's go live. Let's go live on YouTube. And they're like yelling at each other.
Yeah, disaster waiting to happen. Yeah.
So maybe it's like a marriage optimization audit. Like things are good. Let's go from good to great. How do we do that? Come on live. We're going to coach you. And I think that would be cool. I think it'd be cool content. And again, it keeps you top of mind. And then that next step is we've got this hybrid coaching and course program. Since you came on and created content with us, we'd love to give you a sweet deal on that if you're interested. But it's just like the more stepping stones you can create from the shore to the center of the water, that like it's just experience, and they're getting to know you, getting to like you, getting to trust you, and you're showing off the value that you can deliver. When you go, well, let's take the next step. All this stuff's been for free, and they're thinking, I can't wait to see what the paid stuff looks like. This has been huge. Like they feel the momentum already. So I would consider it. I would put it behind an email barrier. I would be collecting emails from these people and then tag those people as super fans. Like these are the people that you treat like gold, whether they ever buy anything from you or not. These are the people that go and tell everybody they know about your show. And like, I know by over delivering with you guys, if you run into podcasters that are, that you think I could serve, you're going to let them know about my show, like, and you're going to get into my stuff. And this is great content. Like every time I do these are my most downloaded episodes because you have the ideas that my average listeners have. You have the questions that my average listeners have. And if I'm sitting up here and serving you, I'm serving them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Okay. So that's why I was like, I need to do something like this for couples.
100%.
To bring them out of the audience and onto the show and actually have them in a live setting.
And it's all in like we said, it's like the framing of it is going to be really important. It's going to be about optimization, not necessarily it's on the rocks. Let's save,
You should do Adam and Mrs. Adams. I see as a ring on.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah. We'll do it. We'll come on.
Almost in cruise control.
Right.
Out of cruise control.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Pedal to the metal type thing.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe it's like the pedal to the metal marriage upgrade or marriage optimization. Like come up with a fun name. So it's like, this is lighthearted. This is fun. It's about just making things even better. They're great. Let's make them even better. And if you frame it right, people are like, they want to be on a podcast. They'll tell people like, I was on a podcast. This is cool. With podcasters, it's super easy. I'm like, we're going to talk about your show. You get to promote your show. And everybody's like, yeah, I'm in. I get to promote your brand, website. Yeah, 100%. Like this is one of your 12 shows for the year. So this will check that box. So how do you guys feel about those monetization methods? Any ideas popping up? Any questions popping up?
They all sound good. They all sound like, kind of like a confirmation of what we've been talking about.
Yep.
And now it's just kind of moving it forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, when I had you fill out a hefty amount of information. I always appreciate that. And you guys should do that for your people that you do these with too. Collect information, discover their pain points, ask them like, what's the one area that you wish you could optimize on that you're maybe having a hard time optimizing, or what's going really well? What's not going so well? If we were to talk a year from now and things went perfectly, what does that look like? And ask those questions when they fill out their email. So when I had you guys list your largest obstacle, it was not knowing what the best move to make is. So let's get a little bit granular as we wrap up today and go, okay, action steps.
Yep.
I can hold you accountable. I know how to get a hold of you now. So.
It's always that accountability, right?
Oh,
yes.
boy.
Yes. And that's something also when you're in the coaching space, always remember that we can give away our best stuff. I can give my best tips for free, but people will ultimately pay you for accountability, holding them accountable to taking action on these things, because maybe 20% of people do that, especially people that listen to podcasts. It's probably 5% that actually take action until they put money on the line, money where their mouth is. And they go, okay, here you go. Let's join the club or let's do the thing. So anyway, that's what people are paying for. Action steps. I think one action step for sure, we got to get a system around getting on other people's podcasts. I want you to track it, have some sort of a spreadsheet. Like, is there at least one of the two of you that enjoys a good spreadsheet? Or are we totally not into it?
She's more. We're good. Yeah, we're good with it, but I like Trello.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So however you track, I think that's number one. Right. Here are our target shows. How many have we been on? When did we last contact, date, yes or no, didn't respond. You start tracking that. And I would put 5 or 10 out there. Now, if you don't do the rankings thing, another tactic with that, search phrases that you think people are searching when they find your show.
Right.
Okay.
See what pops up. I want you to find shows that seem to be at least at your level or maybe a little bit more experienced. So maybe they have a few more episodes. They've been around a little bit longer. They've got a few more ratings and reviews, and they're putting active shows out. That's also important. And then reach out to them. That's people that are kind of playing at your level. And then we start to ping pong up and level up, and we get bigger and bigger and bigger. All of a sudden you're on top ranked shows and we're blowing it up. So I think that's first action step. Get your system. That's something that we can do in the next 24, 48 hours. Here's my spreadsheet. Let's just start putting that together. Here are our targets. Here's how many we're going to do per week. And here's our goal per year. And we're going to track that somewhere too. Check the first box. You're on Podcasting Business School. Boom, done. So that's one thing. Then I would look at the live follow-up situation.
Yep.
When's the first one we're going to do? And just be like, I'm not committing to doing this forever, but I'm going to do this for 4 weeks, and just let's try it for a month, see the results. And so the first time and then the time frame, I would find a commitment to that in the next 24 to 48 hours, not doing it in the next 24 and 48 hours, but having the date of when we're going to do it.
Actually, we are. Our episode dropped today. And we're going to do it Friday.
Yeah, we're going to do it Friday.
So,
see, that's what I said. We're just kind of like a confirmation.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So that's excellent. Then I will follow up within the next 24 hours. That you can hold me accountable with info on podcast player ads and stuff that we can do there. That way you can look at that. It's not for everybody. Not everybody has the budget, but I'm like, if you have a thing to sell and we can spend X and make 10X, then that's something to consider. So we can look at that. Now, monetization wise, I feel like the audience growth, that's all priority. Let's build the legend, build the machine, build the legion of super fans. So let's check all those boxes first and then start looking at that course that you're creating. I really like the idea. If I was going to map out this customer journey, they listen to your show, they come on to your experience, your podcast, your version of the podcast audit. They go into your hybrid course where it's the online course and then the hybrid coaching. And then you've got a recurring membership model at the back end, a nice soft place with recurring income for them to land in. I like that a lot.
Okay.
I like that customer journey a lot. And I like having at least one recurring revenue method, because as entrepreneurs, I want you to know how much is coming in every month. So if you're like, I've got 100 members, it's $97 a month. I know that $9,700 a month is flowing through. And there's a little bit of churn here and there, but that's about right. I know what I'm playing with. I know what my marketing budget is. I can pay myself. I can pay my taxes, like all good things. So I like having that recurring landing spot. And maybe the course is a little pricey and you go, oh, well, I'd love to give you a free 2-week trial inside of our membership. It's $97 a month. Come and try it out for free for a couple of weeks. maybe that's a good fit. So it gives you a plan B option. So I like that a lot. And I would start piecing that together and then like take your time putting that together, kind of work backwards from that. And we can kind of create that client journey funnel. And that's a topic for another conversation that we might have to have. So let's shout you guys out. If you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook, first thing, my son taught me this. He watches a lot of YouTube. I want you to smash that like button. So I want you to do that. He watches Mr. Beast. He's like, Dad, you have 40 million subscribers like Mr. Beast. I'm like, no, I think your mom is subscribed and grandma so far. So
right.
we're building up. I don't think he's even subscribed. I'm like, yeah, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button. So if you guys are watching, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button. All of these are going live now onto YouTube and Facebook. On the bottom, Loving Beyond the I Do. Where do people go if like maybe some pod pals are listening in to this episode and they're like, I need to book these guys. They're ideal guests for me. Where do they go to connect with you?
All right. On Instagram and Facebook, we're at Legendary Relationship. And then, or you can go to the website. The podcast website is lovingbeyondtheido.com, or you can hit us up on legendaryrelationship.com, which is the producer of Loving Beyond the I Do podcast.
Now there's no S because we're only in one relationship. So it's legendaryrelationship.com.
One relationship at a time.
That's right.
That's how you can get in contact with us. Or, you can drop us an email off the website, DM us on social media. Our YouTube, thank you, Adam. Our YouTube channel that we just released is Loving Beyond the I Do. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's hit that like button. That's right. Like and subscribe.
Let me get my roadcaster out. I got to work on that. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Jason and Tina Marie, you are good people. I'm really excited to have you in my world now, and you'll have a hard time getting rid of me. We are officially pod pals. So congrats.
Sounds good to me.
Congrats on that. For all you guys that are listening in, if you would love to do a podcast audit, just like Jason and Tina Marie, then head on over to the website, podcastingbusiness.school. We'll see you next time.